It's probably safe to say Tony Beets is the most famous farmer to come out of the small village of Viddenes, Netherlands.
What's out for the calf, Minnie?
Why does he attack?
Oh, that's
Holland.
well, this is a little one, too. See
You
that?
still know how that works, Tony?
You want to come for a ride? Ha, 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 ha. Ain't no D10, is it? Huh? Oh, yeah, I can still do that. All right? That is good stuff. Honestly, that is good stuff. See? Well, I gotta admit, you guys did find the right idiot.
How important are your Dutch roots to you still?
That trip was nice. You go look at the farm and where you used to around. The weather is sure miserable here, isn't it?
Oh, it's horrible.
But I didn't see my life as a farmer. So I decided the wisest thing to do was just call it quit, get the hell out, and go do something else. Best thing we did was pick up our bags, get the hell out, and go to Canada.
Tony was just 23 years old when he decided to leave Holland for Canada. But he already had a prior commitment, 22-year-old Minnie Terpstra.
It was a big leap, and you guys were young.
I come home one time and he goes, well, I'm going to Canada. I go, oh, yeah. He says, yeah. Well, I says, so when are we going? Because he thought he was going to go by himself. I go, no. That's not how that works. So then, from then on, we started planning it together. But he initially said he was going to Canada.
40-some years later, we're still here, huh?
Yeah. Well, we're even Canadian, eh?
Hey, yeah.
Legend has it, Tony and Minnie landed in British Columbia with a mere $300 between the two of them. And neither spoke English.
He learned English on construction sites. I learned from soap operas.
Tony's first job was in Salmon Arm, British Columbia, doing what he had done all his life, milking cows for $4 an hour. But he soon realized he wanted more.
But I mean, there you are. You were in the same rut as you were where you left. And then we heard about the Yukon.
We heard about the Yukon like 2 months after we came to Canada, and we heard you could make good money there. So Tony went in March of 1981.
When Tony arrived in Dawson City over 40 years ago, he heard about a local gold mining company named Tamarack.
You came up with somebody, and you guys were staying in a small camper, and you finally said, okay, this is not working, and whatnot. And so you ran into the people that own Tamarack, and you said, well, give it a try. Give me a try. I'll work for free.
Dirt moving came natural. Equipment came natural. 7 days a week, 14 hours a day. And that lasted for the full 6 months. No days off, no off. Not everybody can do that.
With the Beets babies arriving one after another, Tony knew being just a machine operator wasn't gonna cut it.
Yeah, well, when we got up on top of the hill, work your way up, you pay attention. You know, you're never last in the morning, you're never first to leave in the evening. And I mean, you always wonder how the hell you can get your own, and how are you gonna pull this off, and how are you gonna do that? You gotta go after it.
So you totally always learn something every day, and that's how you go places. That's how you climb up the ladder.
And then slowly but surely you build up your piggy bank and things fall in place, and then up you go.
When we were super young, Dad used to take off every winter to work. And I'd, of course, mine every summer. And Mom would have 2 or 3 jobs.
We used to live down the hill. Yeah. That way Tony didn't have to drive into town, and we could see him at the end of the day.
Remember that time you guys lost me? You were supposed to be keeping an eye on me. We have bears here.
After years of back-breaking work, grit, and determination, Tony bought Tamarack, the very company that gave him his first shot at mining decades earlier.
I was always boss there already. Minnie did all the paperwork.
I did all the
and
books
whatever.
already, so.
But we kind of ran it like our own. They left us alone. And the guy that owned it said, that's fine by me, bye. And done deal.
Tony and Minnie had carved out a quiet, successful life as gold miners.
Have a long-term plan and stick to it.
Little did they know, all that gold would land him on a TV show.
Hey, fire away.
Okay, so Tony, were you always
Handsome.
sort of
simple, of course. See, ever since then I covered it all up. But before that, boy,
That's
yeah.
a good thing, because the world would not be ready for all this handsomeness.
I was gonna say gregarious.
Who's that?
You know, you don't use big words.
Yeah,
Please?
Keep it simple.
In season 2 of Gold Rush, Tony Beets was introduced to the world when down-and-out gold miner Todd Hoffman came knocking. The Beets look back on that fateful day for the first time in 11 years.
Tony Beets.
Tony,
Yeah.
good to meet you.
Look at how young he is.
Yeah. The moment of truth.
I'd like to have a week like that.
This is just part of what we got. This is not all of it that came out of it.
Okay, here's the deal. I'm down there on Quartz Creek. I'm starting to strip.
What are you doing stripping if you don't know what's underneath it? Drill it. There's no dreaming in this kind of business. Drill, drill, drill. Pretty simple.
Well, Tony, dude, I'm glad you told me this because I'm gonna freaking drill it.
No drilling, no digging. Never mind the stories the neighbors have, drill. Otherwise, they'll end up with the same kind of season as they had last year.
And they surely did.
They sure did.
He's really good at shoving life advice in people's throats, like drill holes, drill holes, drill holes.
But that was the first time you were on Gold Rush.
Yeah, oh, I was?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
because you were a consultant the first year. Because remember, they looked for somebody.
Yeah, they were looking for an idiot. Look what they came up with. That's correct.
found him.
Yeah, they found him.
Even all these years later, Tony refuses to reveal what he really thought about Todd Hoffman.
Okay, so Todd.
What? I didn't do.
I didn't say nothing.
What was your first impression, Tony, when you met him on that day?
Well, I mean, in the beginning, it's all nice and dandy. They had a great idea. Look what came from it eventually. However, Todd, you got to give him credit for trying. Yeah.
All of my money that I didn't have, everything I could beg, borrow, and steal is right coming up. We're gonna mine tomorrow.
So after the first year, it was kind of a screw up. So the second year, I mean, you still look at it as a guy that is trying, taking chances. You know, and so people that give it the effort and that take chances, they deserve a certain amount of credit.
Without him, there wouldn't have been a Gold Rush. So we're all good.